Have you ever wondered how ADHD affects children's lives? Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder, more commonly known as ADHD, is a brain disorder characterized by an ongoing pattern of inattention, hyperactivity, and impulsivity that interferes with functioning or development. ADHD is not just about being hyperactive or overly energetic, it's far more complex and enigmatic. Children with ADHD often struggle with focusing on tasks, following instructions, and completing work within time limits. They may daydream frequently, make careless mistakes, or forget daily routines. Hyperactivity in children with ADHD manifests as constant movement. These children might fidget, tap, or talk incessantly. In a classroom setting, they might have trouble staying seated or playing quietly. Impulsivity, another facet of ADHD, can lead to hasty actions without thought for the consequences. This impulsiveness can manifest as impatience, difficulty waiting for their turn, or blurting out inappropriate comments. Now, imagine the world through the eyes of a child with ADHD. It's like being in a movie where scenes change randomly without any logical sequence. One moment they are in a calm, serene forest, and the next, they're in the middle of a bustling, chaotic city. There's a constant barrage of stimuli, and it's tough to focus on one thing. It's not that they don't want to concentrate, it's that they can't. ADHD affects every aspect of a child's life. It can impact their academic performance, social interactions, and self-esteem. They often face challenges in school, struggle with relationships, and may be more prone to accidents and injuries. It's a daunting journey, not just for the children, but also for their parents and caregivers. Despite these challenges, every cloud has a silver lining. Children with ADHD are often extraordinarily creative, intuitive, and energetic. They have a unique way of looking at the world that can lead to success in many fields. They may need a little extra support, a little more understanding, but they have just as much potential as any other child. The impact of ADHD on children's lives is profound, but there are stories of hope and recovery. Consider the case of Jake, a 10-year-old boy who was cured of ADHD. Jake was a child full of energy, curiosity, and a spirit that simply couldn't be tamed. He was always on the go, his mind buzzing with 1,000 thoughts, each one as fleeting as the last. Every day was an adventure, and every moment was an opportunity for exploration. But this boundless energy and ceaseless curiosity came with its own set of challenges. At school, Jake struggled to sit still. He found it hard to focus on one task at a time, his mind always racing ahead to the next big thing. His teachers were concerned. They noticed that he was often distracted and found it difficult to follow instructions. He had trouble staying organized, often forgetting his assignments or losing his belongings. His grades began to slip, and his relationships with his peers started to suffer. At home, Jake's parents were equally worried. They saw their bright, energetic child struggling to keep up with his peers. His inability to focus made even simple tasks like doing his homework or tidying his room a Herculean effort. They noticed that he was becoming increasingly frustrated and irritable, his sunny disposition often clouded by bouts of anger and frustration. It was clear that Jake was struggling, but it wasn't until his parents sought professional help that they discovered the root of the problem. Jake was diagnosed with Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder, or ADHD, a neurodevelopmental disorder that affects both children and adults. Suddenly, everything made sense. The constant fidgeting, the inability to focus, the forgetfulness, the impulsivity. These weren't signs of a naughty or disobedient child. They were symptoms of a condition that Jake had no control over. With this new understanding, Jake's parents and teachers were able to tailor their strategies and expectations to better support him. They sought the help of medical professionals who prescribed medication to help manage his symptoms. They also enlisted the help of a tutor who specialized in working with children with ADHD, helping Jake learn in a way that suited his unique brain. Jake's life changed dramatically once his ADHD was diagnosed and treated properly. His struggles weren't over, but he was no longer fighting an invisible battle alone. He was now on a path towards understanding, acceptance, and ultimately success. The turning point in Jake's life came when his parents decided to seek professional help. Jake's parents had always known their son was different. He had a boundless energy that could light up a room, but it also made it difficult for him to concentrate, to sit still, to do the things other kids his age seemed to do with ease. They'd tried everything they knew, but nothing seemed to work, and so they made a decision that would prove to be the turning point in Jake's life. they decided to seek professional help. They took Jake to a child psychologist who, after a series of tests and assessments, diagnosed Jake with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, or ADHD. It was a moment that was both heart-wrenching and relieving. Heart-wrenching because no parent wants to hear that their child has a disorder, but also relieving because finally they had a name for what was happening to Jake, and with that name came a plan of action. Jake's parents played an instrumental role through this process. They were his biggest advocates, tirelessly researching about ADHD, asking questions, and ensuring Jake received the best possible care. They didn't just passively accept the diagnosis, they took it upon themselves to learn everything they could, to understand how to best support their son. They became a part of Jake's treatment team, working hand in hand with the professionals to create a personalized plan for Jake. The decision to seek professional help was not an easy one. It came with its own set of challenges and uncertainties, but it was a decision that ultimately paved the way for Jake's journey towards recovery. The professionals were able to provide Jake with the tools he needed to manage his symptoms, and his parents were there every step of the way, providing the love and support he needed to thrive. Jake began his journey towards recovery thanks to the intervention of professionals and the relentless support of his parents. Jake's recovery did not happen overnight. It was a journey filled with challenges and victories. This journey began with a comprehensive treatment plan. It was as unique as Jake himself, tailored to his specific needs and strengths. It combined medication, behavioral therapy, and lifestyle changes, each playing a crucial role in managing his ADHD. Medication was the first step. The right balance needed to be struck, enough to manage symptoms without causing undue side effects. It was a delicate dance, one that took time and patience to perfect. Then came behavioral therapy, a cornerstone of Jake's recovery. It helped him develop the skills to cope with difficult situations, to stay focused, to follow through on tasks. He learned techniques to manage his impulsivity, to channel his energy in productive ways. But the treatment wasn't confined to the doctor's office. It extended into Jake's daily life as well. He adopted a structured routine with consistent bedtimes and mealtimes, regular exercise, and balanced meals. His parents were instrumental in this, providing a supportive and understanding environment at home. And as the weeks turned into months, changes started to become apparent. Jake began to respond to the treatment. His hyperactivity lessened, his focus improved. He started to complete tasks that were once a struggle. His grades at school improved, but more importantly, his self-esteem did too. He started to believe in his own abilities, to see himself not as a problem, but as a person with unique strengths. There were setbacks, of course, days when the symptoms seemed to resurge, when progress seemed to stall. But Jake, with the support of his parents and his therapist, learned to navigate these bumps in the road, to see them not as failures, but as part of the journey. And so, after a year of treatment, Jake was no longer the same boy. He was more focused, more confident, more in control. He was free from the shackles of ADHD. Not cured, perhaps, for ADHD is a lifelong condition, but he had learned to manage it, to not let it define him. He had learned to thrive, despite his ADHD. After a year of treatment, Jake was no longer the same boy. He was free from the shackles of ADHD. Jake's story is a beacon of hope for parents dealing with children's ADHD. It paints a vivid picture of the journey from the chaos of undiagnosed ADHD to the calm of effective management. It's a journey that begins with awareness and understanding. First and foremost, early diagnosis plays a crucial role. Jake's story showed us how recognizing the symptoms of ADHD early on can pave the way for timely intervention. It's not about labeling or stigmatizing the child, but about understanding their unique struggles and providing them with the support they need. Next, seeking professional help is paramount. Remember how Jake's parents reached out to experts? They knew they couldn't do it alone. They sought advice from professionals who understood ADHD and its complexities. This step is vital because ADHD is not a one-size-fits-all condition. Each child is unique, and their treatment plan should be tailored to their specific needs. Now let's talk about effective treatment plans. In Jake's case, it was a combination of medication, behavioral therapy, and lifestyle changes. But remember, what worked for Jake might not work for others. It's all about finding the right balance and adjusting the plan as needed. Parental support, as we saw in Jake's story, is the backbone of managing ADHD. Parents need to be patient, understanding, and consistent. They need to provide a structured environment, encourage positive behavior, and be there for their children every step of the way. Lastly, it's important to remember that managing ADHD is a journey, not a sprint. There will be ups and downs, triumphs, and setbacks. But with the right help and support, children with ADHD can thrive. Jake's story is not an anomaly. It's a testament to the resilience and potential of children with ADHD. It serves to remind us that ADHD is not a life sentence. With the right help and support, children like Jake can lead normal lives, free from the constraints of ADHD.